Welcome to the David Pakman Show. We have news about Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden, of course, now known around the world as the NSA leaker, leaking a bunch of information regarding the surveillance of Americans via mostly electronic methods of communication, including phone. He has been holed up in transit, essentially. He's been kind of in this legal limbo in the Moscow airport for about a month now. He has finally been granted temporary asylum by Russia. It's going to be a 1-year asylum going until July 31st, 2014. He has left the airport. An attorney, a Russian attorney, that was helping him there, said that he handed over the papers to Edward Snowden today. He said Snowden left Moscow's airport where he had been stuck since June 23rd. I put him in a taxi 15 to 20 minutes ago and gave him his certificate on getting refugee status in the Russian Federation. He said he can live wherever he wants in Russia. It is his personal choice. Also adding, this is Anatoly Kucherena, his attorney, or an attorney that helped him in Russia, saying that his whereabouts are going to be kept secret, obviously for security reasons. Now, the U.S. has and continues to demand that Russia send Snowden home to the U.S. to face charges for espionage and presumably other charges as well. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has dismissed that request. I think a couple of things, Lewis. Number one, this asylum is going to now allow Edward Snowden, if he can avoid any kind of extra legal persecution, right? Some kind of covert assets coming after him when he is in Russia, he could now, presumably, although they may be watched, approach the consulates of the different countries, most of them in South America, South and Central America, that have been at least open to the idea of permanent asylum, and presumably have meetings that aren't while he is stuck in the transit area of the Moscow airport. I think that that is going to increase the possibility that he does avoid U.S. prosecution long term.
Definitely. He just got very lucky, and there's a lot of things opening up, a lot of possibilities for him now. But I think if he were to go to a country that somewhere in South or Central America, I think those are the types of places where he could be illegally abducted by U.S. special forces or what have you. That won't happen in Russia.
I'm not convinced of that. Why don't you think it'll happen in Russia? I mean, I think that it's a huge country, and certainly it might be easier for Snowden to hide there, but I don't know that Russia's off the table for being taken in by some kind of covert operation.
I don't think so. I think it's too risky. I think that's the type of conflict you want to avoid. If things go right, if things go perfectly, it's impossible to prove who exactly took him. But if things go wrong, you've got U.S. special forces or soldiers or employees busted in Russia doing something that Putin will frown upon.
I still find something ironic about the fact that, forgetting about the specifics of this case, that we had a situation for a long time where people were seeking asylum from Russia in the United States. And now I understand it's completely anecdotal, but we have an American seeking asylum in Russia. I know it's a unique situation, but there's some kind of inherent irony in that for me. I don't know why. The other thing I also think of is Edward Snowden back in the initial days of these leaks. He said he really has no intention of just avoiding justice from the United States, but really that's what he has been doing, right? Going to Hong Kong initially, and then going to Russia now and accepting a year of asylum there. I'm not faulting him for it. Most people would do the same thing, and they would take their self-interests in mind and say, whatever legally could happen in the U.S., I want to avoid it if it's going to be bad for me. I'm not faulting him for it, but he has been trying to avoid justice in the United States, has he not?
Yeah, of course. And like you said, I don't blame him. Anyone in his position should, because it's nothing good that's waiting for him over here.
And whether you agree that he is a whistleblower or not, putting that aside, anybody who considers themselves to be whistleblowers, the way Edward Snowden does, given how the U.S. treats many whistleblowers, I can't really blame him for doing anything he can to avoid prosecution in the U.S.